program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I am your host, Bubba Starts, and I am joined by my friend Roberto from the Americana Bistro Grill. And also, I am a guest on his show. So this is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, for me, Bubba, it's a pleasure and an honor having you. I'm Roberto Alvarez Galloso of the Americana Bistro Grill. I host it, and we do the best with independent Americana artists.
That's me.
I know you are. You're one of them too. That's why we're interviewing you as well. We're the alternative to the mainstream media.
I think in the years to come, Roberto, I think we're going to find out that we are the mainstream of the media, and it's just going to take everyone a little bit of time to catch on. Before we get too far down the road here, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do, and then I will do the same.
Yeah. Before doing that, I want to say that I support Made in USA. I'm wearing this T-shirt. I'm wearing jeans, and I'm also wearing some shoes and socks from the All-American Clothing Company of Ohio. Buy American, and if you're going to buy American, buy Ohio All-American Clothing Company. Plus, I'm wearing this cap as a tribute to one of the greatest Midwestern groups, Minnesota, I think, Leadfoot Larry. Our program, the Americana Bistro Grill, is a program for independent Americana artists. It's the music and the artists that we play that are an alternative to the mainstream. America is not New York. It's not Hollywood. It's the interior. It's the rural areas, the Midwest, the South, the Rocky Mountains. It is the stars like Bubba in South Dakota. It is the stars like Leadfoot Larry in Minnesota. It is the stars like Midnight Kahuna here in Florida that deserve all the publicity because they have the talent, they have the drive and the tenacity to promote what is excellent music at a time when we need it, and when the mainstream media is not doing its best to promote mainstream music, but mostly and that's what we're promoting mostly. And we interview the artists. We don't play the music because we don't want to get into copyright issues, but we interview the artists and they explain what is the songs that they're doing, the music that they're doing.
That's excellent. So for your show, I'll introduce myself and get to know let you get to know me a little bit. My name is Bubba Starts. I am a songwriter. I would identify as that first and foremost, but I also in the last year or so became a podcast host, and for a lot of the same reasons, Roberto, because I felt that the artists that I was surrounded with, right, all of my friends deserved to be at the top of mind, right? Not necessarily what you see on, the CMT awards and the CMAs. And now I actually have some friends that are members of those organizations, but I was surrounded by awesome, talented, amazing songwriters. And I felt like they deserved to be talked about, and they deserved to be talked to and to have their music shared. So when I found you as a fellow, promoter of Midwest country music artists and Americana artists in general, I just had to dive in and get to know you better. And that has now brought us to here and getting to share our stories about why we think and why we believe that these artists are the future of music.
The thing, you got a good point there, Bubba. The thing is, most of the artists like Leadfoot Larry, Pat Waters, Sarah Morris, these are artists that have the talent. They have the, as I said, they have the talent, they have the grit, they're down to the earth. They give you that really, they give you what is real music, the real verses, the real music, and they don't allow themselves to be corrupted by what you see in what they call mainstream media. It's this type of music that we need. We used to have this type of music a long time ago. Somehow we as Americans, especially Midwesterners, have lost our ways. And these artists that I mentioned, plus many more, like Katie Tessman, or even Matthew French, and Ted Hayashevitz, and also more. These are the people that are the unsung heroes of Americana music. Even Monica Austin and Jasmine Cain. I had Jasmine Cain in my show. I would have loved to have Monica Austin in my show as well, but these are really artists that are down to earth. They're the ones that you could feel the music. You could feel the concert. You could feel the sentiments.
I love that.
I'm going to ask you a question. Can you do that with Taylor Swift? No. What do you get in Taylor Swift? Nothing.
No, there's no substance in the mainstream.
No.
It's all been very diluted. And I wouldn't say that Midwesterners have necessarily lost their way. It's that we disengaged from that whole thing and just went, well, we're just going to go and dig into our local music people. But there was no media and no outlet for media to follow that. With the invention of podcast, we were given that ability. And now with the way that the world has turned, I think a lot of guys like you and I have realized that, oh, we don't need anyone else to make this for us. We have the ability to do this for us.
Of course.
You just brought up someone very, very close to me, Miss Jasmine Cain. She moved from South Dakota down to Nashville 20 years ago to chase that dream, and all the talent, all the look, all the everything, the songs. And they went, well, how much money do you have? And the number that they wanted to actually make, the dream happen was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's just like, well, that's not tenable. And no matter how much talent or how much you have the look and everything else, it still takes this massive, funding to get yourself even into the door. That's not even to really become someone even. That's just to get people to talk to you. And now with the rise of independent music and the way that we release music now through, YouTube and through other programs, the DistroKid and things like that, I use a free service called 1RPM that I recommend to everyone because I pay nothing. And they put my stuff in all the same places that people who are paying, for a professional distribution are getting. Maybe I don't get the promotion side of it, but the promotion side is our job now as the podcasters and as the promoters of these Americana artists.
But what I did in my show, the Americana Bistro Grill, I started by accident because I love all types of music, especially Americana music and the Midwest music. I worked in a station called AMI Radio, Anna Maria Island Radio. I was a sportscaster, and at the same time was sending CDs of Americana music to the president of AMI Radio, who was Robert Herman. And no, actually, he was the vice president, and the president was Casey Hoffman. They said, why don't you do a show about Americana music? Because you know the artists, you've been to Key West, you've been to Key Largo, do the interviews, play the music. We did that, and we had a success with AMI Radio. We had an audience. We had an audience that we went international. We had listeners as far away as Egypt and close by here, at least Cuba. Everything was great until Robert Herman died. When he died, and I'm using the word died, I'm not using the other word, I had to take the Americana Bistro Grill and add it to my other channels that I have in YouTube. I have the Americana Bistro Grill in my channel YouTube Alvarez Galloso, which I'll be publishing afterwards. We also expanded into other areas like Brighteon, BitChute, Rumble, so that we could publish and broadcast. We wanted to continue this because we knew that there was a necessity, there was a demand for these artists because people were getting tired of no music or synthetic music. They wanted the real deal. And many people wanted the real deal. So I interviewed Midnight Kahuna here in Florida, Jasmine Kainla in South Dakota, Pat Waters in Wisconsin. I've even tried to invite some more artists. I tried many methods. Some methods worked, some methods failed. What actually helped us more was when we had these times of pandemic or pandemia or whatever they call it, coming in, and most of the artists were in danger of losing their livelihood because of some of the restrictions. I came in and I broadcast Friday night from 8:30 to 11:30, again, with the Midwest and the Rocky Mountains in mind. And we had a success, and we were able to not only save careers, but also promote careers. And we still want to do more for the independent artists, especially those who do the Americana music. Because Nashville, like you said, they charge for the dream. But not only do they charge for the dream, they also make certain demands that an artist cannot comply. Same with New York, the same with Hollywood. I don't know what you call it, but I call it selling your soul. And that selling your soul is selling what you are music-wise to fit a mediocre establishment. We're in the Americana Bistro Grill, we look for the real deal. We look for the raw talent. We look for the real music. I listen to every CDs. I listen to all the videos on YouTube. I've even listened to some of your YouTube videos, Bubba. I loved every minute of it. And we're still looking for more talent.
Well, and I think that's the thing for both of us, is finding the communities, finding, the Midwest Country Music Organization has obviously been very influential on both of our podcasting careers. And I'm looking for more of that. I'm busy writing a book right now to get more people off of the sidelines to do more podcasting, because I'm not going to be able to cover all of these artists or writers, or we just need more people talking to other people and just more people talking in general. I think conversations is how we get to know each other, and it's also how we get to know ourselves in the process. So I think it's so important to just start talking.
Yeah. I haven't covered the writers. I just simply covered the artists. I even have a Spanish language broadcast doing the same thing with Christian artists. But in Americana music, we deal with everyone, regardless of their beliefs, religious, politics, or whatever. We just simply want the talent and we want the music. I've been knocking on doors of many artists and inviting them. Some of them have not even answered, and I understand. But we in the Americana Bistro Grill are the real deal. We want more artists to get the promotion. The more, the merrier. I not only have a national audience, I have a worldwide audience.
Well, and that's the best part about the internet, right? Is that we are all broadcasting internationally. We're starting to work with artists in the UK, and I have an interview, I think next week, with some people from Nigeria, and continuing to expand on this. And one of the biggest, the biggest setbacks for me is that I don't speak every language, right? Very fortunate to speak English, and most people around the world are taught English.
Yeah.
I know a little bit of Spanish, but not enough to call myself bilingual and to be able to hold an interview and a conversation. But I was in Mexico for a year. I spent a year in Mexico playing my music down in the, around the mercados, and I was living, that couple hundred pesos a day was the same that I was making working on the highway crew. And I kind of found music again at that point, Roberto. I kind of forgot through following another path, right? I was, selling a lot of marijuana and writing this thing. And it brought me all the money, but it brought me no happiness, right? I call it monopoly money, because I wasn't earning it. All of the thousands of dollars that I had access to meant absolutely nothing to me. I spent it on all kinds of stupid things. And what I wasn't doing at that time was playing or writing any music. And I thank God for making the way possible to go into the heart of Mexico. And, I was about an hour and a half northeast of Mexico City. And so I was deep down in there. I was 15 hours from the border, right? And to see how they reacted to an American in an area where they had no Americans, right? I was a unicorn, especially when they saw our small child. They were like, what are you doing here? You know, and not knowing my story. But when I pulled out that guitar, and especially when you play songs, you know, like Hotel California was probably the most requested song. I mean, I know it was the most requested song down there. It was eye-opening to me that music is a universal language.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter what language you speak, and it doesn't matter what kind. I mean, just the universal language part of it just blew me away. Where I knew that I could communicate how I feel just by using my guitar and words that you may not even know the meaning of, but the emotion was able to come through that. And it really it set me back on the right course, where it was obvious to me that my calling was in music. I needed to get back to that. I needed to do a lot of things, you know, namely come back to the United States, do the prison time that was waiting for me, and to be able to move on with my life so that I could be here now with you and to be on the righteous path.
My daughter's eczema was out of control. She couldn't sleep because she was scratching her whole back, her bottom, her elbows, her knees, everything was just covered. I'm pretty sure it's genetic for her, but I know that there are things in our environment that are exacerbating it or making it worse, right? It could even be things like laundry detergent, the wash she was using in the bath, lotions I was using on her. I saw my friend posting that her little one was also struggling with eczema and that she used this special lotion. Right here, the best stuff that we have tried so far. We did try other lotions and creams that worked, but they broke the bank. We literally could not afford to buy them on a regular basis to keep up with how much she was having eczema breakouts. But this stuff was great, super affordable, safe for her super sensitive skin. She's only 2, and I have no hesitations of putting this on her, and it's been the best thing that has worked so far.
Yeah, for me, it's a pleasure and honor being with you and talking with you about all of this. You're talking with international audiences. I went farther. Number one, I still have family in Cuba. Some of them listen to the Americana Bistro Grill, and some of them even learned English listening to my podcast. They love the music, and then they started learning English. Number one, because they wanted to see what was going on. 2, they were loving what was going on, and they wanted to understand it. I also had different audiences in Asia, Africa, the Middle East. Some of it because in my early years, in the 70s, I went to an American school in Venezuela. They call it international school. There were different one of them in Venezuela. I'm not talking about the Venezuela of today. I'm talking about the Venezuela of yesteryears. We had different nationalities in the school. We were all one class, regardless. 1 minute. Because that is very cold here. Not as cold as the Midwest, but it's cold. Nor am I getting a cold. I'm just simply choked on on the papaya fruit. We had an international school, and we had everyone, even the Jews and the Arabs were in peace with each other in the school. We were united in music. Most of them were my first audience. Most of them were my first audience because they wanted to see, again, what was going on. They loved it. They loved the concept. They loved the music. And they started buying the independent artists. They rejected the mainstream. They rejected anything that was New York, anything that was LA, anything that was Nashville. We even had artists in Canada and the United States inside the 50 states. Partly from there. Then when we started the podcast with the AMI radio, and then Americana Bistro Grill, our audience grew more. People wanted to know more about our music. The thing was, when Robert Herman died, I had to take it to my own blog and make sure that these artists received the publicity. And then through thick and thin of the last, 4 years, I had to struggle to make sure that not only was I in the air, but that the artists, because my worry, my preoccupation was that the artists were not going to be heard. I wanted them to be heard, and they were heard. And I'm still open to more artists. The more the merrier.
So Roberto, I don't mean to cut you off, but when Mr. Herman passed away, then did it pull the show from the radio then?
Thank you for asking. That's a great question. What happened was when Mr. Herman died, the show wasn't pulled away. The thing was that the president, who was the wife of the vice president, said, "I cannot continue this any longer." I tried to continue with AMI radio, but Casey Hoffman decided to go explore new horizons aside from AMI radio, and she just simply dissolved AMI radio, put it out of business, and right there I had to take the Americana Bistro Grill and take it into my blog and make sure that all of the artists received the publicity that they deserve.
Right, and that so. You had already built a little bit of an audience, obviously, with the radio show and everything. Were you able to kind of pull a lot of those listeners and that audience that you had into your world before it was taken away? Or were you kind of starting from square one again, 4 years ago, you say, and having to rebuild everything from nothing?
Okay, when Robert Herman died, that was in 2017. I pulled all of the audiences to my new show. But it was a difficult transition because when AMI radio went off the air, I started losing audiences. I had to take a break from the Americana Bistro Grill, see what I was going to do, and then reinvent it. We were reinventing when this epidemic came out, and right there we had to take all the artists. Oh, don't worry.
Sorry, no, my heater kicked on. I didn't want you to hear it in the background.
Don't worry. I'm gonna have to. Eventually, I'm gonna have to put the air conditioning on, even though I'm freezing. But I either have to put the heater or the air conditioning.
Negative 30 up here today, Robert.
We haven't whacked the program. We haven't whacked the program here with the heater and the air conditioning. But as I was saying, we had the program in AMI radio. Robert Herman died. The widow said, "I cannot continue this any longer." So she put AMI radio out of business. It was booming until he died. What happened? I had to take the Americana Bistro Grill and put it in my blog. I was able to retain a lot of audience. Not the one inside America. There were some that left and went to other stations. But what kept me going were the people outside of America that were listening to me. Also the family members in Cuba, the people I knew in the American School of Venezuela, are saying, "What's going on?" Then I revived it there, and we were doing a great revival. And just 1 minute, right? Just 1 minute. I have to take care of something here myself. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. This is. I don't do it now.
No, and to lose, such a big broadcast is, I mean, it could have just wiped. You could have stopped. And I think you would have had.
Keep going here. 1 minute. 1 minute.
I think Roberto would have had a lot of reasons to just stop right there.
I'm not done yet. Bob, I'm not done yet. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I had to take it. I had a little prostate problem, so sorry about that.
That's okay. You're getting up there in years, Roberto. You're forgiven.
Okay, but back to what I was saying. AMI radio was on the air. Robert Herman died. We had to take the program elsewhere. We were doing really great. Until this pandemic came out and all the restrictions and everything. You couldn't do this. You couldn't go out. You couldn't do it. There was not even a live concert. What happened with the live concerts? Since they were canceled, I had to find refuge in Instagram and Zoom and make sure that every artist that I could interview got interviewed. Aside from the Spanish program that I had from 5:30 to 8:30 on Friday nights, I did another program from 8:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. This was in Florida time, exclusively for Americana artists. Taking into account the time differences, I focused on the Midwest, especially the Dakotas, because of the time difference, and also because I'm a Midwesterner. Another thing was I also focused on the Rocky Mountains, and not just Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah, which are the states that received the most attention. I focused on Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. And of course, occasionally Oregon and Washington came in as well. But that's another issue. And it was these interviews that I did between 2020 and 2022, 2023 that cemented the Americana Bistro Grill. That cemented it and consolidated it. We were the ones that the artists came to because since they couldn't do the concerts, how could you do a concert if you have restrictions? They were the ones who were able to perform and everything, and we were able to bypass all the copyright issues and everything. And we did 30 minutes with each artist. We saved many artists. We saved many communities. I also give my thanks to God that He helped me maintain the Americana Bistro Grill for all of these years. Why did I go to the Midwest in addition to the time zone? Most importantly, I owe it to the Midwest. I'm a Midwesterner. I was born in the Midwest. I was born in Ohio. If it weren't for the Midwest or in Ohio, I probably wouldn't be speaking to you right now. I'll be probably cutting cane in Cuba or fighting in Angola or being sent to North Korea to do whatever. And the Midwest saved me from that. And I owe it to the Midwest, especially Ohio, and also owe it to the artists. We have to promote ourselves. We have to promote our music. We have it also there. It's just that we need to project it to the whole world. And I'm willing to invite any artist to come into the Americana Bistro Grill. I'm inviting. I have many replies. One of them is you, Bubba, which I'm glad that you came. Jasmine Kane is another. I've been trying to get Ron Kill on my show too, but Ron Kill has been having a lot of concerts, and I understand that.
Ron's a busy guy.
I know. But he did send me his CD, South by South Dakota. But the more the merrier. And I'm also using my forum here, or your forum better yet, to invite all artists from South Dakota to come into the Americana Bistro Grill. When I mean come, I'm talking about the artists that have the hard rock, the electric rock, metallic country, everything that is country. None of the elitist music. The elitist.
Well, and I feel like, Americana isn't just, it's not necessarily a sound that it's not defined by its sound. It's defined by its stories. Right. I mean, this is where the stories are. And that's why I've never identified as a country artist until maybe the last few years, because country music is where the storytellers are. And, rock music had just gotten heavier and heavier and heavier from times that I grew up. In the 90s, rock music sounded a lot different, bands like the Gin Blossoms and things like that, where, yeah, you could have distorted guitars, but it wasn't all about, well, let's just make it as distorted and as heavy as it can be. And then that doesn't vibe with me at all. And that's not the music that I write. So I kind of feel that I finally found a home with country or Americana music.
Yeah, of course. That even in the distorted sound, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s. I'm going to be 63 this March. I remember the 60s. I remember the 70s. I remember Eric Clapton of Cream. Eric Clapton, even with all the distorted sounds, he was able to tell a story. And he could still tell a story, and he was still down to earth. He did a latest song called Stand and Deliver. And even at that time, Americana music, like you said, tells a story as well. The rock and country also tells stories too. But the thing is, these are stories that need to be released to the general public. They want the real deal. They want the real thing. They don't want the bubblegum music, the the titles and the melody and the words that are like synthetic. They want something that is real.
Well, and the only thing that was missing from that, and not that you didn't have independent magazines and different things, but the thing that was missing from all of these artists and their songs were the publicity, right?
Right.
You know, they're releasing it. Anyone can release music on Spotify now, and you can even do it for free. But then who's going to listen to you, right? And why would they listen to you? And what we've found out over the course of this year is that when we bring you on our podcast and we write about you on our blog and we do these things, that it legitimizes you, even though we're nobody, to your audience and your people now. It looks like, you know, you're more worthy because somebody else is now talking about how amazing you are, not just you saying, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. There was a lack of publicity. You had the big people had the publicity. The people who had the talent but were small didn't. But I saw the potential in some of these independent artists. I knew that they needed to be promoted. And I did most of my promotion was taking their YouTube videos and just simply promoting it in my blog. Others inviting them to my program so that they could talk about their music, their careers, their art, so that other people could buy the albums, buy the CDs, or even go to the streaming. And I'm especially promoting the CDs and the vinyl so that the artists could actually get the money. Because right now we're having with the streaming process, you get the music, but they're not getting the publicity or they're getting the profits. So I want the artists also not only to have the music promoted, but also want them also to live off the music so they could buy more equipment and promote more of their music and record more hits and more concerts. And the Midwest Country Music Organization, I was going to bring that up. The Midwest Country Music Organization deserves my praise because they actually promote the artists. They promote the artists that others don't want to promote. They promote the talent. They even have their own versions of the CMT Awards, which I see a lot. I love seeing the MCMO Awards every year. I wish I could go to Okoboji, Ohio, and be at the awards. These are the things that we need: the organizations, the people who are promoting the organizations, and we need the artists. And I'm willing to offer an invitation to all the artists to come on.
There's plenty of room and the water is warm.
Yeah, we're ready. And right here, and then if you go to the Florida Keys, the water is more than warm. It's hot. And that's another reason. The Florida Keys. I live in Miami, but I don't live actually in the city. I live in what they call the boondocks, close by the homestead in Florida City, where it's all country. And then you go to the Florida Keys, and there you have all the country, and you have the musicians going there in the Key West International Singer-Songwriter Festival, where you have all the Americana artists going there and performing. These are the people this is another reason why I also promote all of the Midwest artists. They deserve to come here to Florida and perform. What would I give to see you, Bubba, perform with Midnight Kahuna? For those who don't know Midnight Kahuna is an American artist. And just imagine his music is like Elvis Presley on the beach. That's all I could say. Or Ricky Valido and the Hialeah Hillbillies, that when they sing, it's like, let me see. Take a mix with Ricky Valido, mix the Eagles with Elvis Presley, and you really got heaven there. And Instant Karma, a great duo. The female singer in Instant Karma has the same voice as Stevie Nicks. It was beautiful. They did their version of Stop Dragging My Heart Around. And the male singer of Instant Karma was like Tom Petty, and the female singer was nothing more like a Stevie Nicks.
Funny story. I I got to see Tom Petty and Stevie do that song together in Sturgis. God, it's probably been 15 years ago now at least, but a great memory because, you know, we were there obviously to see the Heartbreakers and to see Tom Petty. We had no idea that she was going to be there. Didn't even know she was in town. And what a treat for me. I wish I had had a little bit less Jack Daniels that night, so I had a little bit more clear memory of it happening, but I remember it happened. And of course, they played Stop Dragging My Heart Around, and what a beautiful moment. Roberto, I got to let you go for today. I know we're going to be talking a lot more in the future, but can you tell everybody where they can find the Americana Bistro Grill and give us all the plugs?
Okay, the Americana Bistro Grill. I don't have a podcast per se, but you could find me in the. I'm also going to write it in my. I'm also going to write it in my YouTube and everything. You could find it under the channel Alvarez Galloso, ALVAREZ GALLOSO. Until I find something separate, that's where it's going to be. Under the title Americana Bistro Grill, you can find it on all the slots where I have my programs. You can also find me in Rumble, Brighteon, and BitChute. Like they say, if they're going to censor you on YouTube or any other place, go to another channel. Plus, I'm also in these channels. I'm all around in these channels as well. Brighteon, BitChute, Gab, and YouTube. And I'm also in WordPress as well. You'll see the videos, you'll see the interviews, you'll enjoy everything. And you can also, if you want to come to my show, you can also email me at R, Rhode Island, C, Colorado, A, Alabama, G, Georgia 62 at gmail.com. I'm all around. So, and you can also call me for if you want to even appear on my show, you can also call me at my phone number, 786-938-3313. And I'm even on WhatsApp.
Roberto, for your audience, I'll tell everybody, just go to thesceneprojects.com, all the podcasts, all the blog stuff. It's all there. We hope to include more of your writing and put a link into your blog and stuff on our website. And we are really trying to be a network for guys like us. There's so many creative people out there that are doing their thing. What my mission is to grow a much larger idea. I call it an umbrella, where we can all gather under, right? And to build this into its own YouTube or Rumble or whatever this becomes, I have no idea. But I know when creative people get together, amazing things happen. And that is what has happened here today. And that is what continues to happen in both of our lives every single day. So thank you, Roberto, for being part of the scene.
For me, it's a pleasure and an honor. And before leaving, I am again reiterating my invitation to all the artists. Please come one, come all. We're all ready. And the best, and I close with this. May God bless everybody here. And peace in, peace out, and peace everywhere. That's our motto.
You heard the man. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to the Scene Projects Podcast Network. We appreciate you listening. You can find more at thesceneprojects.com. Join our community.
Got an ocean full of love that's made for two. We sail upon the ocean breeze and sunshine feels like you loving me.